connection of the United States and the world entered yesterday in a public act in their current act of in Utah Valley University at an unidentified university received a message of despair from mortality. The influence of the direct impact of the United States market. Charlie Kirk is someone with a very likely brilliant political future who has left many people and the United States practically on the brink of war. This was a frontal issue in all the countries and an absolutely terrible choice with a very valuable ability to pay at the international level. We are with those stories that are the final story because it's very probable. The theories about who could be behind this terrible tribute will surprise you. And many. As we, as usual, from the very beginning, Charlie Kirk, who actually did this yesterday, as a custom at the university, Americans to be so created among human beings, because confrontation directly challenges the discourse of democratic unity in the United States. And there, what people want students to do is ask those questions. I understand they're responding to a particular day or discourse to receive that. The images are not published here, but as usual, you can see them on my Telegram channel or by using RoboCivil Education. The rest of my social media is in a pinned comment, as well as in the description of this video. That is the terrible, especially terrible thing about this aspect, which in itself is not good for you. For you, I am very passionate about people on social media. About this fact. Well, we have to first note that despite everything, none has been found. Donald Trump himself could be included, as he has already suffered 2 assassination attempts. The most recent was in Pennsylvania. And although they arrested 1 person, actually, it seems there were 2, and the accomplice is still at large. The same thing is happening. In fact, something similar happened with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Since on site and according to United States policy, the person was released a few hours later because they had nothing to do with the damages caused by a subject who was found inside the university. And yes, from what it seems in the images, a silhouette, possibly a man, was seen running away. This doesn't speak well of the work of the United States police. And here, which will introduce the first clue about what Valkura thinks about this social tragedy in the country. But it had been brewing inside him for a very long time. The society is unidentified, tremendously polarized, and now, moreover, increasingly more radicalized. Both already had momentum, especially with the attention Donald Trump received. That within the corporate world, the policy, and especially within the corpus of the FBI, it cannot be discussed with the facts in question that no, you're putting too much effort into contradicting the responsible responses of everyone curious here. Charlie Kirk, who is left seeming more than responsible. First of all, he spoke out against the United States continuing to finance the war in Ukraine. Considerable. That was something like a puppet paid by Lathea.
Have to ask the very simple question: who benefits from peace and who benefits from war? Who benefits from peace? Well, the people of Ukraine benefit from peace. The people of America benefit from peace. Humanity benefits from peace. But then who benefits from war? The military-industrial complex. Oligarchs of the Ukrainian ruling class. And maybe we should reopen diplomatic channels with the Russian Federation. It's tempting to just say, well, Russia is a great enemy of the United States. We've made them an enemy. Instead, we should try to drive a wedge between Russian and Chinese Communist Party marriage in the Russian-Ukrainian war. Largely unnecessary. There was a peace deal on the table. Russia became our enemy because it was an ideological foe. That regime fell, and there is no reason to keep them our enemy. When the Soviet Union collapsed, it took a lot of very contortionist arguments to keep Russia as an enemy of the United States.
Secondly, now more and more videos are coming out with their opinions about it. What really happened? The October War cost the lives of poor civilians in the Gaza Strip. It's true that I wasn't pro-Palestinian, far from it, but I was starting to ask more and more questions of the state. Dealing with
Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. I dislike generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that, but it's true. The Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left-wing anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans. They fully embraced woke. And it wasn't just the Anti-Defamation League. Some top Jewish organizations in the country did too.
Let's say he himself felt that the news selectors about the Y of ideas and some threat had appeared on social media. He himself had somehow predicted a very similar predicament. Well, talking about how he kept speaking out against Iraq would end up the same way, because this brought about a form of theories that now there will be hundreds, if not directly. However, things were established, and I think that here, this is in a special way. Well, two things in particular. The first is more at a national level in the United States and in our own countries. It's practically finding the border of a race. And that's why the messages that are being defended on social networks are important among the people. Society is like a university. For example, Elon Musk doesn't leave much room for doubt. He has spoken in terms of the Democrats as part of some actions, but there's more to it. Other times, I'll leave you directly here with their respective tradition where you can present. Up to that point, now the Society of Unity is heating up. And well, who? Is three of what happens in the country. It's like that here. The second point is more dangerous than the interior, and all of them are the most global, the one that concerns us. Absolutely everything about everything. That preoccupied those living among the so-called collective West. The agenda that has been subsidized for and against it. In fact, the idea of today, those countries of their global countries. Or would you say that headlines, especially in the Federation of Russia, could be included in the race of the military special C? Whatever the agenda, it is dividing and radicalizing the societies of Western countries now. That's why parents have to kill in different ways, including the literal one. Now we are living in a moment in which society, slogans and proclamations that over time can be subsidized, especially in the United States for the current democratized, clarify through the document because there is no time within between, is the theory of subsidies that you could enjoy during the presidency of the president over for others coming to an end. For that reason, obviously, they are trying to find someone. The public schools, considering their situation and the fact that during that time they were in the context of the state, were the public schools of the generalized authoritarianism of those times. And to all this, besides, there's the very controversial fact, which is going to become even more so, that in the United States, the arms trade, well, it's at everyone's disposal. I mean, there's an arms market. This is absolute freedom, isn't it? But a large part of the population has free access to the same thing. And that, of course, also influences those individuals who are doing receiving information that will leave a total impression in their mind. In the end, they end up committing absolutely terrible acts. Of course, these are just positions for a ladder. For others, I think, regardless of the identity of the accession, in most of these analyses, they are part of reality. That the accidental media and the collective West keep denying it, unfortunately, it might be too late. Today it happened in the United States. Tomorrow it could. What will countries do then? Well, this type of threat of national hand prosperity and have been subsidized during, there hasn't been any. Live simply and you'll succeed. Is the maxim of the elites of any country. Or hopefully we wake up, because I think it's already time to wake up.